from someone you used to really know. I had a friend just like that a long, long time ago. Whoa. His name was Lando.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Source Material, the comics podcast right here, premier comics podcast right here on the Rattlich Inn Broadcasting Network. We want to wish you a happy holidays, ladies and gentlemen, as we know that you are getting ready to go into the Christmas week this week, and you are listening to us, and we're going to be talking about Lando. That's right. Marvel Comics published Lando in 2015, specifically went on sale, first issue went on sale July 8th, 2015. Written by Charles Soule, art by Alexander Maleev and Paul Mounts, and lettered by Joe Caramagna. And joining me this evening is the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Rattlich. Mark Rattlich, why are we discussing a Star Wars-related comic, specifically Lando, tonight?
Well, first, let me say Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.
Because it's Christmas Eve.
That's right.
Yesterday, we reviewed on Damn You Hollywood, all 900 of us reviewed Star Wars Episode 9, The Apology.
I didn't see that subtitle coming.
Rise of the Angry Internet Trolls.
Oh boy, did they rise! All right. I wonder what it's going. I hope this finally puts them to bed, sets the trolls on a nice little goodbye voyage. Think it'll happen? No. Nope.
No, they may have taken down an entire corporation and made it retreat to streaming television. But we live in cancel culture now, Jesse. I don't know if you know that.
I've heard about that. Yeah,
we're living in cancel culture. It's the only culture that America truly claims these days. And we don't have American culture anymore, or any sort of rich cultural traditions. We just have cancel culture.
That's right.
However, sir, I'm sure there'll be other companies and properties and things that people treasured when they were 5 that they expected to be the exact same for the duration of their life in the future. So there'll always be Star Wars in some form or fashion for them to yell about.
Yeah, we gotta let the trolls have something to be upset about. I mean, come on.
So Billy D. Williams made his triumphant return to the Star Wars franchise in Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of the Skywalker. I thought, you didn't think, you don't make the schedule.
No,
I do all the heavy lifting around here.
You do, sir.
I thought it would be fun to take a look at yet another one of the Star Wars miniseries that came out after Lucasfilm was purchased by Disney. They launched a series of 5-issue comics featuring a single character from the trilogy proper. So we've done Han Solo. We've done Princess Leia, and since Billy D. Williams has come back as Lando Calrissian in Episode 9, Rise of the Skywalker, I thought, let's focus on his. His looks fun.
Yeah, I've watched Star Wars before. I am not as big a fan as a lot of the other people that I know on this network are. They probably, you specifically and others on here have watched the movies probably 3 or 4 times, at least more than I ever have. But I've always appreciated what Star Wars brought specifically to geek culture, number one. I mean, it gives us nerds something to hold on to and gripe and bitch about.
I certainly appreciate what Star Wars has brought to the culture. Entitlement and anger and frustration and tantrums.
That's right. Gives us something to be upset about.
Sure, which is what I want when I come home and want to turn my brain off and disconnect from the world, is to watch a piece of media and be utterly frustrated and disappointed by it.
Well, I remember watching Empire, I think was the first time I'd watched a Star Wars movie that I can clearly recall. I don't remember watching Star Wars first. I remember watching Empire and then definitely catching Jedi at my babysitter's on HBO. So yeah. She was highfalutin back then, in the mid 80s. You got HBO, you were talking to town, especially down here in Lanford.
Babysat by the rich man's daughter is what you were.
No, she was just an old lady.
Is that how you like it? All right.
Yeah, she was an old lady that stayed upstairs while I went downstairs in her family room and watched shows.
Okay.
Well, that's the best kind of babysitter you can have,
Sure.
So we're talking Lando. like I said, this came out in 2000. What was it? 2005? No, 2015.
There you go.
2015. There we go. A real quick synopsis. Lando, published by Marvel. On sale date, July 8th, 2015. Written by Charles Soule. Art by Alexander Maleev and Paul Mounts. Lettered by Joe Caramagna. In a story that takes place shortly before our introduction to him in the movie, The Empire Strikes Back, Lando Calrissian is much the same man we know him as in the films. Ever the charming gambler/smuggler, Lando is also in debt to a ruthless crime boss by the name of PATRON. PATRON states his debt will be absolved if he does one more job: heist an Imperial luxury space yacht. Lando agrees and puts a team together to secure the vessel. His faithful friend, Lobot, 2 skilled cloned fighters by the name of Alexin and Pavel, and an Ugnaught treasure expert by the name of Corrin. Acquiring the ship, they find it is filled with relics, and soon after, 2 Star Destroyers are hot on their tail, as the yacht belongs to Emperor Palpatine. Escaping the Star Destroyers, the team stumble upon a chamber that is guarded by 2 Imperial guards, containing weapons of the Sith. The guards gravely injure Lobot, but Alexei and Pavel are able to defeat them. Meanwhile, the Emperor enlists a bounty hunter by the name of Chanath Cha to go recapture the ship, or destroy it. In the Sith chamber, Alexin is overtaken by a Sith presence, grabs a lightsaber, and cuts off Pavel's arm. Retreating to safety and temporarily sealing the twins in the chamber, Lando and Corrin now have to figure out what their next move will be, as the evil on the ship may overtake them all. Getting Lobot to a back-to-chamber in order to heal, Chanath Cha is able to catch up with the yacht and boards it. Running into Lando as they are figuring out how to escape, Chanath reveals herself, and as it turns out, the two have a history. With no intent to kill Lando, Chanath initiates the self-destruct sequence and plans to gather Corrin, Lando, and Lobot, then destroy the yacht. However, Chanath Cha's very mistreated droid takes her ship and leaves, and also, Alexin and Pavel have taken the escape pods offline. Now there seems to be no way out. Successfully defeating the twins, Lando gets Lobot, but after talking to Chanath Cha, they realize their situation is bleak as the self-destruct sequence counts down. Knowing their only chance at survival is to bring the escape pods back online, Lobot uses his cybernetic interface to access the ship's computer. However, doing this, he sacrifices his own brain in the process, and at the end of the story, they are all able to escape, but Lobot's mind has fallen victim to the implant circuitry, and now a machine rules his brain. All right, so that right there is a synopsis on the 5 issues of Lando. So, Mark, I mean, you're the Star Wars guy. I mean, I know the characters. I know who Lando is, and I know who Lobot is. Like, he has so many lines of dialogue in the movies. It's amazing.
Lobot, mighty vehicles, Lobot. Sorry.
Are you singing a GoBot song but putting Lobot in it?
Yes, sir.
Wow. That's deep cuts all around. I don't know if I've heard the Lobot or the GoBot song in a while.
That's the second time in as many weeks that I've been referencing an old 80s toy commercial.
If you were going to say second, yeah, that's true. Right here on this show, ladies and gentlemen, and Lurky. So, like I said, this felt like the kind of story I would expect Lando Calrissian to be involved in. How about you? What were your thoughts here, man?
All right, so you know how like I see things as movies, and like if they work for me, they work as movies, right? Mm-hmm. Partially because of just the way things are now with Lucasfilm, and partially because I actually think it would work better this way. And maybe my mind is working like this because Disney Plus does exist, and I didn't really have that as an option when I thought about things before. I totally see this as a Disney Plus series. Flesh out Lando. Like it starts off with Lando and this Moff, and they're like presumably post making sweet love.
Yes.
And Lando is utterly manipulating this powerful woman, this governor, this Moff, this imperial murderer. And he's like, listen, I was gonna steal from you. I'll kill you. Wait, my story gets better. Sweet thing. Pops open up Colt 45.
Yes, sir.
And he's like, let me tell you how I couldn't live with the guilt anymore. Sweet thing. And he just, like flesh that out a little bit more, flesh out the stuff with Chaneth Cha. You could absolutely do 8 episodes on this.
Oh yes. Now that we have the Mandalorian, I have you had a chance to watch any of that yet?
Nope.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm not going to spoil anything or give anything away, but I'll tell you that, when I look at The Mandalorian and how simple that story really is, something like this could easily be adapted to that.
Right.
To that format. Yeah.
That's totally what I'm saying. So my thing is, number one, like this totally works as an 8-episode series. First of all, I love the fact that, you have all of these characters who are warriors and pirates and fighters. Lando's just this con man.
Yeah.
Smooth gambler. Like, he gets further with a teaspoon of honey than he does, with brute force.
That's
More
right.
so than any other character that I've seen in the Star Wars universe. And he doesn't have like magic powers or anything. He's just got like 100+ charisma.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. One of the things when I was doing a little bit of research on this, on Lando and just kind of get myself familiar with the character, Donald Glover was he actually spoke to Billy D. Williams. He's like, look, I'm going to be portraying him. I'd kind of like your thoughts on what I need to do. Really, the only advice that he gave him was, all you have to do is be charming.
Yeah.
And that's it. And man, did that ooze off the page there in the first issue.
I've never seen a character captured so well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people's takes on characters are kind of contextualized by the events they have them in, things like that. So, like, maybe you don't have the greatest read on, say, Superman, but you've got superhero working. He's doing stuff. Mm-hmm. And so it doesn't matter as much. This one, it didn't matter what Lando was doing. I was into the character.
Yeah.
And because not a lot happens in the story. If you were like, well, tell me what happens. Okay, well, they steal the Emperor's yacht. Oh, wow, I bet that's quite the caper. No, they literally walk into the parking lot, get in the ship, and drive it away. That's it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, maybe it was like a tense thing, like when they were trying to get on the Death Star, and they're like, what's your password? Nope. He literally like, it's a shipyard. Nobody fucking noticed.
Yep. We're just going to go ahead and hop in there and grab it.
And so here's the action beats. Okay, you ready? The Star Destroyer try to bring them in with a tractor beam. They fool the Star Destroyer into hitting the other Star Destroyer with a tractor beam, and they crash into each other.
It's good stuff.
That's one action sequence. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's all that happens. The second action sequence is when he's got the 2 Black Panther guys. Not the 60s radicals, but literally like the characters, the Black Panther. So yeah, he's got these 2 like cat man creatures. What they realize is on this ship is that there's a hall full of Sith artifacts. Mm-hmm. And this room just sort of emits evil. It's like the Ring of Doom. And so almost immediately the cat guys fall like prey to this and start trying to kill everybody on the ship. And everybody is literally like, Lando is the other cat guy, Lando and the Ugnaught. And then so here's the heroics that get them out of that situation. They shut the door.
And really they don't really have much of a plan either. They're just like, well, what do we got to do now? The only thing that keeps like Lando from getting the fuck out of there is, number one, Lobot was hurt, and he has to figure out a way to get him off ship. But they're all getting off ship, and also, oh yeah, by the way, the ship is filled with like just extremely rare antiquities. Yeah, really rare. I mean, the Ugnaught was just like, Korn was just like, you wouldn't believe what you have on your hands here. So there's riches involved, and Lando, if anything, he's a ne'er-do-well, and he's looking for the next score, which makes sense as why he's friends with Han Solo. Yeah, sure. So hang on, but okay. So there's a third action beat. Okay, so Chaneth Cha, right? Well, surely things are going to pick up when Chaneth Cha, the bounty hunter, comes on, who's working for the Emperor. One of the Emperor's many hands shows up on this ship, and like 30 seconds into it, she has the gun drawn on Lando. Lando's just up against it, and he realizes who it is, and he's like, "Hey, baby," zip. And off comes the element, and she's like, "Hi." Yep. Yep.
Fancy meeting you here.
She takes her helmet off. There's clearly a history, and it's got to be the cape, dude. Like the cape is enchanted and gives him like +5 luck or something. Because not only is he like charming, charismatic, all get out, but I swear the dude is, the one fucking bounty hunter that gets called is somebody he knows. Doesn't surprise me, but.
All right, so that's it. That's all the action beats there are. But the point of me bringing all that up was you're not reading this for the action. The big draw of this comics, just so everyone understands like the overall point that I spent the last hour and a half trying to make. The draw of this comic is not the action. The draw of it is not like the plot necessarily. The Lando is drawn and written in such a way as his overall magnetism, his charisma is what keeps you coming back. Like, this was a breezy read, and not because I thought the story was all. It's a job. They stole a truck full of antiquities, and somebody went after him for it. And it turns out he knows who went after him. And one of the guys on the job went crazy and tried to kill everybody, which you can make interesting. And I think, and I don't want to play that down. Like someone might hear that and be like, "What's he complaining about? That is interesting. That's pretty cool." Like, okay, fine, but that's not like the main event of the book. The main event is Lando himself.
Yeah,
like. Han Solo gets backed into a corner, and he's like, I'm going to hit a thing and do what that could, and I'm going to fly into it. Like, Han Solo is brash. He's heroic. He is a guy that's like, all right, danger's ahead of me. Fuck it. I'm going to go right into the danger. I'm going to do a crazy thing, and it's going to be fine. Mm-hmm. Lando Calrissian was like, I got moves for days. like he is as cool as the other side of the pillow in this. Lobot is kind of the C-3PO of this routine, of this, comedy duo.
Yeah.
He's like, you can't do that. That's crazy talking. And Candle's like, relax, babe. I got this.
It's under control.
Yeah.
There's even a point where right when he makes that decision to make that unprecedented move. Now, here's the other thing about Lando. He's so smooth. He's
Lando is Vince McMahon without the dick and fart jokes.
he can
get you to do things you don't want to do.
Exactly. And
he's like Bill Clinton from the Family Guy episode where like Lois goes to talk to him and tell him he needs to stop getting Peter in trouble, and 2 minutes later she's had sex with him. And like later on they will do the same exact gag with Peter.
Nice. Real nice. People do not trust Lando because they feel they've been swindled. They've been swindled so many times by this guy. And at one point, when he's making that decision to do that maneuver between the two Star Destroyers, Alexei and Pavel believe right then and there that he's planning on turning the yacht into the Imperials.
Right.
And they take a knife up to his neck, and he's like, whoa, no. That's the one thing about Lando is that even though he may look like he's working on the side of evil, especially in like Empire. He's working with Darth Vader. He's a guy that has somewhat of a conscience usually. And this one, people still question as to whether his loyalties, they still question that. And that's kind of one of the strong parts of this character. What did you think of Lobot, his portrayal in this book? Was there anything here that took you out of the Lobot character? Were you okay with what was portrayed? Did you enjoy it?
No.
Okay.
This is a storyline that takes place before the Empire Strikes Back, before he was the administrator of a mining colony. Mm-hmm. So, and this is post-Disney buying Lucasfilm, so it's canon, which means that, they have to run... that there are people that are in charge of, like, the story editing and details, and, like, everything that came from the 2015 comics is all canon. And if they wanted to be like, okay, so before Lobot was a very simple cyborg-type fellow who's pretty flat and robotic, I want to make him something else. They were like, okay, great, do it. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody is going to use this character in anything. So do whatever you want with him. And then at that point, it just becomes the artist, the writer, wanting to do something interesting. Look, I was listening to an episode of Cancel Too Soon today, and they were talking about how, your hero always needs like a partner or a sidekick or somebody to explain his plans to. And that's Lobot's function. The fact that he, the detail, I don't get caught up in details like that because unless it's like established canon that they don't, here's what kills me about the Star Wars universe and these asshole fans out there.
Assholes.
There's a throwaway line in a movie set to kind of give it some extra color to world build in some way, and nerds take it to the bank that it's biblical. Han Solo flew a was a freighter. Oh well, and they just go like, you ever see like the Star Wars wiki pages? That's not like maintained by anyone from Lucasfilm. This is nerds going crazy and inventing stuff.
Yeah.
And people just like take it as it was tablets given unto fans from God on top of a mountain. The fact that Lobot, who's just a character in The Empire Strikes Back, who's like there to help Lando out of his sticky situation after he's given away the farm to the Empire. That's it. Who gives a shit whether or not he can talk? Lobot could have been a porno actor for all I cared. He could have been a greased up deaf guy, and it's like, and then by the end of it, he's wearing, a fancy headpiece. Who gives? Calm the fuck down, people.
Well, this clearly added at least a new dimension to the character Lobot.
I accepted him for what he was in the story. I was not offended one way or the other regarding his place in the story, and it does not contradict anything else I knew about Lobot from what's already canon.
Pretty sad stuff, especially that that final message that actually plays.
Okay, that's the only part of the book I didn't like.
Oh, really?
Ugh, that was so hackneyed.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh, don't you come on, man, me. You come on, Eileen. You don't come on, man, me.
Oh, my.
Okay, so here's this cool guy. He is cooler than the other side of a pillow. He's got, he's got just the ultimate charisma. He's a smooth operator. And then Lobot, before he turns into the T-1000, says, "Hey, go be a rebel." Do you know why Lando became a rebel?
Tell me.
So he's the administrator of a mining colony. He's finally got responsibilities. He doesn't have to do cons anymore. He doesn't have to be a gambler. He can become a responsible adult.
A business owner.
Right. And then his friend who went and joined a terrorist group showed up with his Jew girlfriend and their dog. Shortly after, the government showed up and said, "We're going to nationalize your mining colony if you don't turn over the pirate." And he was like, these are the things you got to do to keep people working. And so he does. But the government, being the government, nationalized his mining colony. Now this poor bastard has lost his investment, lost his job. Okay, everything is in ruins. Where else is he going to go? He's radicalized.
True.
He's going to go back to doing cons again? No, now the government's on to him. So he becomes a terrorist. That's my interpretation of it.
I think it's Lobot's speech. Let me read a little bit of this to you, because I think, to me, it sounds like he's telling him to become a businessman.
That's not what I got from that at all.
Okay, well, let me read this to you. It says, you have a power, Lando. This is his pre-recorded message as his brain has become 100% adapted to the circuitry now. But he says, they have a power, Lando, you have a power, Lando. People follow you. They willingly become chips in your game, cards in your deck. That's an amazing thing. It's how you do the things you do. We are your luck. So here's what I'd like to tell you while I'm still your friend of many years, instead of whatever I'm about to become. Stop playing. Get out of the game. Fold. Find something to believe in other than yourself. Use that power you have, that luck, all that charm, and do something good with it. Lando, old buddy, you're better than this. So now, my interpretation of that is he's telling him to stop stop gambling and stop being the swindler and go do something that you want to do. So if he believed in himself as a business owner, as a mining colonist leader, whatever he is, then what did you call? What was his official title?
Administrator.
Administrator. Thank you. if he's telling him that, if that's what he wants to do, but no, I see what you're saying. That could easily be turned into, hey, go fight for your right to party, Lando. The big government sons of bitches, you shouldn't believe in them.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm okay with that up until he's like, hey, your luck comes from the people around you, and they're, you have a natural quality about you to lead. Okay, I'm with you so far. And then he gets into get out of the game, go do something else with yourself. You have talents that lend themselves to other things. Go do that, because this is a fast track to death. With you so far, go find something to believe in. You can go fuck yourself.
How dare you support this man's dreams? Lobot, go fuck yourself.
No, Jesse, you are a talented and wonderful human being. Go out into the world, find what you're good at, and go do that. Okay. Is a lot different than Jesse. Go find something you believe in and lead those. I don't know. I just, that last line is supposed to allude to him being a rebel, not allude to him managing a mining colony or a business of some sort. Do you see like the difference between get out of the game versus find something to believe in are not really the same thing?
I do. I think Lo wants him. Lo, I'm gonna call him Lo. We're friends.
Sure.
He's just a machine anyway. I think that Lobot had wanted to give him at least a message of encouragement to go off and do whatever he wants to do, whether it be a rebel or whether it be just out of the gambling game or out of the swindling game.
I feel like they could have stopped with get out of the game, find something else to do.
Okay, all right.
That's all. I just feel like it went too far with that last line into he's gonna be a rebel.
Lando, you scallywag, you rascally.
Because he only becomes that because he loses everything, and he's also overwhelmed by guilt over turning Han over to the Empire. That's the non-silly way of saying it. Okay,
well, this might have just been one straw before the straw that finally broke the camel's back, or something that supported, leaned him one way when he had this rather touching conversation.
I kind of wish the way the story ended, though, was that he got away with the swindle. That he got away. He got away with some of the goods, and you see him kind of a postscript after the message is, what are you going to do now, Lando? I was like, well, I've had my eye on this investment. It's a mining colony over some backwater called Bespin. Mm-hmm. And then just leave it at that. There's no real connective tissue between the end of this comic and where he is in Empire Strikes Back, other than Lobot's stupid speech.
Okay, so well, then I guess you did feel pretty strongly about Lobot at some point. Any other characters you wanted to talk about? This story's not really full of them. I mean, we have Chaneth Cha, who's, we already talked about her. She's a bounty hunter, has a history. I think she has more of a history with Lobot than she does with Lando. I mean, they all know each other, but I think if anybody was romantically involved, I think it was actually Lobot and Chaneth Cha, because when she shows up, Lando's like, "Hey, Lando's here, or Lobot's here."
It's contrived. It's a trope. You know, so when Lando sees Han Solo and Chewbacca, right? Shortly after they do the bit with you, low down swindler, and then they go, "Hey, so good to see you," blah blah, yakety schmackety. There's another beat. I want to say it's after he hits on Leia, and Han's like, "Don't hit on my girlfriend, there, buddy." And then Lando, irritated with Han after 30 seconds of being with him again, just kind of shifts over and is like, "Hey, how you doing, Chewbacca? You still hanging around with this loser?" I feel like you see that in movies and TV shows all the time, where you have a reunion where it's like the star is like, you dumb guy, what's your partner, your dog, your sidekick, your midget. I love you. You're wonderful. You're fantastic.
You're the greatest. So how about we had the Ugnaught on there. We had Alexei Pavel, and that's really about it. Did you have any other commentary about
super complex story?
No. Well, once again, we're at a point where I don't think we can drag anything else out of this thing. So, what's your final thoughts, man?
Like I said, I would love to see this fleshed out into a full 8-episode series. give more to Kenneth Cha, give a little bit more to the Emperor and his stuff. Maybe spend one of the episodes on how the Emperor got those particular Sith
little backstory.
Items. Yeah. Give a little to Kenneth Cha, give a little to, a little bit more to Lando in the situation that he's in, and in the beginning with the Moff. Maybe flesh out more of those action beats a little bit, give a little bit more to what's going on. Because I understand the guy only had like X amount of pages he had to work with. Mm-hmm. But it'll work differently on film than it will in the comic book. So go ahead and flesh those out. And I think you can make it 8 episodes out of this, and it would be really, really fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that I wouldn't have any problem giving this to at least a somewhat, well, I'll say, I think a hardcore Star Wars fan could find something to enjoy in this series for sure. Yeah. So
I think if you love Lando and you're into like really fun, charismatic characters, you will have a blast with this series. But if you are looking for rock'em sock'em action stuff, you might want to skip this one.
Yeah, there's not going to be space battles. There's one space battle scene really, and that's about it. And it's not.
I would not use
much
the term battle.
Yeah, there's not much of a battle there at all. So, all right, well, I guess that will bring our discussion about Lando to a close. We will get into plugs, sir. What do we got coming up on the Rattleitch in Broadcasting Network this week?
Well, like I said, it's Christmas Eve, and I hope everyone has been good this year. You haven't, but, whatever. Tomorrow is Christmas Day. So yesterday, we dropped the Damn You Hollywood Star Wars Rise of Skywalker review. You can hear all my thoughts about it on that podcast, along with the 800 other people that were on the show. The day after Christmas, Jesse's going to drop something else, maybe an unspoken issue. We don't know. Jesse's got a lot of canned hams.
You've turned Christmas week over to me before, if I remember correctly, or at least around that time.
Yeah, I don't do shit around Christmas. That's my Jewish holiday.
Ah, yes,
Christmas,
celebrated across the world by many other Jews.
That's right. However, Friday night, I go back to work. So Friday night, Pat Mullen and I will do our final TV party for Fuller House Season 5.
Wow.
The time has come, Jesse Starcher. It's the end of an era.
No kidding.
Yep. We've got on the 28th, I'm not sure what we're doing just yet. We're either doing Fedor versus Rampage or we're doing Davis versus Gamboa. When it gets a little bit closer and I can nail down who's doing what, then we'll know what's going on. The following week, however, life begins anew in 2020 for the Rattleitch and Broadcasting Network. We don't stop. We don't quit. We don't take too much time off. Okay? Other people maybe like, oh, it's the holidays, don't have a lot done, or maybe they've got some canned hams that they're going to post. Not us. We are live. We are loud and in charge. Boy, none of that rhymed. Source material kicks off 2020 on December 30th with Fight Club 2.
Should be interesting.
So maybe Jesse will have something for you New Year's Eve. I hope he does. I hope he's got some more canned hams for you. But we've got... That's right. But we've got another live show. New Year's Day, the Metal Hammer of Doom returns for our own year-end special. We'll look back on some of our favorite records that we reviewed this year, some of the shows that upset people. We shall regale them, regale you with tales from those shows. Maybe we'll read some of our favorite comments. Hey, fucktards, delete your account.
That's number one.
Everything you said on this podcast is wrong. I can't believe you don't know what Mathcore is. I hope you die.
Perfect.
So yeah, we'll have fun on the Metal Hammer of Doom year-end special, and then Thursday, it's also known as Hers Day. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't.
January 2nd, Fight Club on trial, and then tentatively scheduled for Friday, January 3rd. Myself and Pat Mullen will do a special evening recording of Chapter 3 in the long, strange history of heavyweight boxing. You know what Chapter 3 is all about?
Jack Dempsey.
That was Chapter 2, you dummy.
Red Fox.
Terrific. Joe Louis.
You dummy.
Named after the arena. No, the arena was named after him.
Wait a second. Oh,
Joe Louis Arena. And then January 4th, we've got ICW New York, No Holds Barred. Don't you understand, Jesse Starcher? The ropes are made of chains.
Oh, wow. That's rough.
No submissions.
Oh.
No rules. Don't you understand?
People are going to get hurt.
I hope.
Of course you would, you savage.
And then we get back to our regularly scheduled television watching and reviewing. We've got Doomsday Clock, source material. Doomsday Clock. Has Doomsday Clock actually wrapped up just at this point?
Pretty sure they hit the 12th issue there not too long ago.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we should be in good shape to where we can.
So we got Doomsday Clock, something from not that long ago. I mean, it'll just have ended by the time we get to January 6th. So yeah, that'll be fun. We don't do a tremendous amount of contemporary stuff here on source material, so. But we're doing Doomsday Clock because it features The Watchmen, and that means TV party, Jesse. Woo!
Oh, man.
Watchmen Season 1 on January 7th. And then Pat Mullen is back on the Metal Hammer of Doom. There'll be no albums to review, but that's okay. We're going to do a show that he picked like a year and a half ago, 80s Kiss. We're going to do a review of 80s Kiss songs. How about that?
I like it.
And then that's it for that week. I ain't got nothing else to record live. I want to stress live for that week, but we might have some boxing coverage for you on January 11th, and then January 12th, NXT UK Takeover Blackpool 2.
Oh my goodness, Walter will be in full force.
That's right, big strong boy.
He is.
All right, I'm done plugging now because if I go any further, we'll have to cancel all those shows.
All right, I'm ready to get out of here. Mark Radulich is done talking. I'm done talking. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be catching you next week when it's time for New Year's. Have a great one. Merry Christmas. Bye-bye. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure to give that Radulich in Broadcasting Facebook page a like to stay up on top of all the great podcasts we have to offer. We are at home on Spreaker, but you can also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and recently we have hit the air on Spotify. Find your favorite podcast platform and type in RADULICH to subscribe for some great content. If you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word. And as always, we appreciate any feedback and look forward to entertaining you again soon.
Why, you slimy, no-good swindler. You got a lot of nerve coming back here after what you pulled. And who's this Jew you brought with you?
I have to enunciate.
Oh, Spider D. Ghetto Santa. Speaking of Ghetto Santa.
Escaping the Star Destroyers. I can't say that. Star Destroyers. You didn't move the bodies.
Oh, hero standing there.
Donald Glover.
There's also a cover where Lando is an action figure. I don't think the covers matter.
Okay, fuck off.
Yes, let's go over the pronunciation bridge.
Pronunciation, sir. So
hang on, I gotta do that line again because I'm gonna upset someone. I want to kick him in his Lobots.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. You know what I mean? Oh, it's been a while since we sucked our dick in the cranberry sauce. Yes, sir.
I once destroyed my DVD player with a copy of Fight Club. So anyway, continue, Mark. That was a bad joke.